It's Easter Sunday. My name is Brittany and I'm going to present my oral interpretation, and here's my audience. Grief does not change you. It reveals you. The loss of a loved one can swallow you in an ocean of grief. And in the novel, The Sky is Everywhere, that is exactly what happens to Lenny. She loses Bailey, who is not just her sister, but also her best friend. And losing Bailey makes her realize that she'll never be the person she was. She'll never be Bailey's Lenny because her sister is gone. Throughout the book, she also realizes that she's still a person worth being, that her endless love for Bailey is something to keep unbroken within her heart because it will remain perfect and untouched forever. After we're done, I get my backpack, which I loaded up earlier, and take off for the cemetery. When I hit the trailhead, I start running. The sun is breaking through the canopy in isolated blocks, so I fly through light and dark and light, through the blazing, unapologetic sunlight, into the ghostliest, loneliest shade, and back again, back and forth, from one to the next, and through the places where it all blends together into a leafy lit emerald dream. I run, and as I do, the fabric of death that has clung to me for months begins to loosen and slip away. I run fast and free, suspended in a moment of private happiness, my feet barely touching the ground as I fly forward to the next second, minute, hour, day, week, year of my life. I break out of the woods onto the road to the cemetery. The hot afternoon sun is lazing over everything, meandering through the trees, casting long shadows. It's warm, and the scent of eucalyptus and pine is thick, overpowering. I walk the footpath that winds through the graves, listening to the rush of the falls, remembering how important it was for me, despite all reason, that Bailey's grave be where she could see and hear and even smell the river. I'm the only person in the small hilltop cemetery, and I'm glad. I drop my backpack and sit down beside the gravestone, rest my head against it, wrap my hands and arms around it like I'm playing a cello. The stone is so warm against my body. We chose this one because it had a little cabinet in it, with a metal door that had an engraving of a bird on it. It sits under the chiseled words. I run my fingers across my sister's name, her 19 years, then across the words I wrote on a piece of paper months ago and handed to Graham in that funeral parlor. The color of extraordinary. I reach for my pack, pull a small notebook out of it. I transcribed all the letters Graham wrote to our mom over the last 16 years. I want Bailey to have those words. I want her to know that there will never be a story that she won't be part of, that she's everywhere like the sky. I open the door and slide the book in the little cabinet, and as I do, I hear something scrape. I reach in, pull out a ring. My stomach drops. It's gorgeous, an orange topaz big as an acorn. Perfect for Bailey. Toby must have had it made especially for her. I hold it in my palm, and the certainty that she never got to see it pierces me. I bet the ring is what they were waiting for, to finally tell us about their marriage, the baby, how Bales would have showed it off when they made the grand announcements. I rested on the edge of the stone, where it catches a glint of sun and throws amber prismatic light all over the engraved words. I try to fend off the oceanic sadness, but I can't. It's such a colossal effort, not to be haunted by what's lost, but to be enchanted by what was. I miss you so much, I tell her. I can't stand that you're going to miss it all. I do not know how the heart withstands it. I kiss the ring, put it back into the cabinet next to the notebook, and close the door with the bird on it. Then I reach into my pack and take out the houseplant. It's so decrepit, just a few blackened leaves left. I walk over to the edge of the cliff, so I'm right over the falls. I take the plant out of its pot, shake the dirt off the roots, get a good grip, reach my arm back, take one deep breath before I pitch my arm forward and let go. The houseplant is referred to as the Lenny plant throughout the book. It's a metaphor for the person that Lenny was before her sister died, and the plant begins dying after Bailey's gone, which is just proof that Lenny can no longer be Bailey's Lenny. She has to become something more than that to try to overcome what she's been through. Death can take over every emotion you're capable of and twist it into agony. It doesn't have to control you, it doesn't have to drown you. And while Lenny does go under, she resurfaces. She accepts that grief is forever, that her sister will die every day, and there's nothing she can do about it. She forces herself to be content with what was, rather than to be miserable about what could have been, which is a life lesson that we all should be reminded of every now and again. Thank you for listening. There's my audience one last time.